Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe in Lagos.
For the greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. Cecilia, it's good to have you back on the show. And what a time for you to return. We're getting ready for the Paralympics. The Super Eagles finally have a new manager. And of course, we're counting down to the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Action-packed world of sports.
Yes, it's a loaded package. We'll be dissecting the new coach, the Super Eagles, a new coach. You find out all you need to know about this particular man. So many questions have been asked. Why him? Why the sudden announcement? Like 5 a.m. this morning, people have been talking about it. All you need to know, you find it on the program about the man, Bruno, who is the new man in charge of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, the new list is out for the game that they will be playing in September, the first September 7th, and of course, the second one, September 3rd. 23 players invited. Those who miss out in the two games that former coach Finidi George was in charge of, they are all back in the squad, having recovered from injury, including Victor Osimhen. Of course, so much more to talk about on the show tonight. Austin already reeled that out, but we're not alone on the show, of course. It's a Tuesday, and Kehinde Idris is here, and the question on everyone's lips, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, all the things we need to know about this new man. And Leo will be joining us from Germany. He knows much about this man. He'll also be talking about him, what he will be bringing to the table. And of course, on the continent, we just have one team in the CAF Confederations Cup and also one in the CAF Champions League. Remo Stars, for the third time, they are out at the preliminary stage. When will they finally make it out to the second round? Maybe next season, who knows? We'll be talking about Rangers International, who were able to make it into the second round of the CAF Champions League. While Remo Stars, of course, they are out. And AIM, of course, they've finally had their opponent that they will be playing in the CAF Confederations Cup. So much more on the show tonight. Kehinde Idris is here. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, to you. Good evening to Austin. Good evening to Lagos. Good evening to Nigeria. It's happy times. What will happen after this announcement is what we are all waiting to see. But over the weekend, it was a mixed feeling for the continent. But me, I did not have mixed feeling. My feeling was direct. Edo Queens, thank you.
All right. I mean, that was Friday. They started the weekend on a very high note. Yeah. And of course, Rangers also, but Remo Stars on Sunday, they crashed our hope. Yes, Mario Leo will be joining us. And if Edafe Matthew will be able to join in, he will also be joining us on the program. So before we introduce Mario, we'll just take a look at the background reports of this man that we are talking about, Bruno Labbadia, the new coach of the Super Eagles.
The wait for a new head coach for the Super Eagles has finally ended after the Nigeria Football Federation confirmed German Bruno Labbadia as new manager of the country's senior men's national team. This comes after former Nigeria international Finidi George left the role following Super Eagles' unimpressive performances against South Africa and Benin Republic in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers in June. Labbadia has previously managed a host of German Bundesliga sides like Hertha Berlin, Stuttgart, Wolfsburg, Hamburg, and Bayer Leverkusen. His last three roles for Wolfsburg, Hertha Berlin, and Stuttgart aren't rosy, as he was sacked by all three clubs for poor run of results. However, he boasts of an unenviable managerial scorecard of 214 wins, 103 draws, and 170 losses, which amounts to 43.94% win ratio. The 58-year-old becomes the sixth German to coach the Super Eagles after Karl-Heinz Morawski, Gottlieb Goller, Manfred Horne, Betty Vos, and Gernot Roy. Labbadia will begin his stint with the three-time African champions in next year's Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic on September 7 in Uyo and Rwanda on September 10th in Kigali.
right? That's what we need to know about Labbadia. But there's so much to know about him. But Mario Leo will be joining us from Germany. He is the managing director at Result Sports. So he'll be telling us more about this man, Bruno, who everyone wants to know about, because he is the man on the hot seat right now. You know how difficult it is for you to sit down there and coach the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the 37th coach for the national team. Mario, good evening. It's good to have you join us on the program.
Very good evening, Cecilia. It's a great pleasure to be back on the show. Anita, good evening to you. And Austin, of course, very good greetings to London. I'm very honored to be back on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So this man, he has been appointed to coach the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Yes, we don't have details of the contract because that wasn't revealed by the Nigerian Football Federation. The target, of course, is for him to try and qualify Nigeria for the Nations Cup and also for the Nations Cup and the World Cup because, down at the bottom of that group. What do you think is going to bring to this national team that for a while now we've not been having a good result by the two coaches have left, especially a build up to the World Cup qualifiers?
Well, Cecilia, he's well known here in Germany as a fireman. Yeah, so when the circumstances are difficult, when the conditions of the team is not great, when the team is divided, when there are very different stakeholder interests and everything, governance not great. So that's when clubs call him. That's why you're seeing his coaching career most of the time kind of 1 year assessments. So he comes in, he fixes the team. He's very structured. He's very organized. He's very demanding in a way from a German perspective for what it means for routines, punctuality, self-responsibility. And he's very well known in the dressing room. He had a very, very great career as a playing career. He scored almost 300 goals in his acting career. And he was kind of, when I grew up, he was just about 5 years older than me. He was a star. Yeah? He made it 2-3 times to the German national team, but he had to fight against like a Horst Rubesch, and obviously Oliver Bierhoff and all the stars of the German team. So he was always like a backup guy. But is overall very well known, very well regarded. And I think, to be very, very honest, the players will like him because he knows from his playing career, he speaks the players' language. He's very well credited, and he will unite the dressing room. And I think that's what it's required from the Super Eagles.
Interesting. I mean, I love what you called him, a fireman. I'll call him Mr. Fix-It because from the clubs he has coached, Stuttgart, them avoiding relegation. But the question I want to ask is, people say that a coach is as good as his last result. If you check when he went back to Stuttgart in December 2022 and he was fired in 2023, 12 matches, he won just 2, drawing 3 and losing 7. And his ratio at that time, which was just last year, was 16.67%, which is really very poor. So if a coach is as good as his last result and he's been appointed and Super Eagles game, he's supposed to take charge of the 2 games that Super Eagles will be playing 7th and 10th. How will he hit the ground running, getting the right result, we knowing that Nigeria is actually in a precarious situation right now?
Yeah, I mean, Cecilia, I understand all the sort of troubles and all the research and everything is you look up, and I followed social media the whole day. There's a lot of criticism, and sort of we kind of judge a person who've not started his role yet. So that's very, very challenging. I believe he will do very well. Like I said, he will come in. The players, the international players from the Super Eagles will regard him because he's obviously a German coach. I've spoken to a good friend of mine, Joshua Guilavogui, who was the captain of the dressing room of VfL Wolfsburg when Bruno Labbadia was the coach, and he is a person bonding to it. So just Stuttgart as his last club obviously is an unfortunate example because as a coach you can only work with the players you got, and at that moment in time, Stuttgart had a lot of trouble. They had financial troubles. They were relegated 2 years before. Yeah. They were on the brink of being relegated. He tried to fix it. He was unable to fix it because the player material wasn't ready. So that's why I think we shouldn't judge him just basically on the last performance. Let's see how he comes up. The first announcement of the squad today It's obviously done by the NFF with his guidance, but when he comes in, he will sure work with the players, and you will see that there will be lots of smile on the pitch. There will be lots of engagement on the pitch. He will be very, very active, and he will be not sitting on the bench, seeing the Super Eagles just playing. He will be on the sidelines, and he will be as active as the players will be on the pitch.
Yeah,
Austin? That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, I like it. I like the things you've said, Mario. It's soothing, it's reassuring, But you've said quite a number of things. It's playing career checked. I like it. Club football experience checked. I like it also. But you see, with national team football, it's a different ball game entirely, particularly when it's Africa and then it's Nigeria, Mario, So with what you know about this guy, I know you're not a coach, you're not his agent, but with experience covering football, what you know about him, and when you look at the, peculiar situation that Nigerian football is at the moment, can Bruno Labbadia cope? Can he survive these heat?
I truly believe so, Austin. It's very, very nicely put. But obviously, I mean, when you look into the recent histories of the Super Eagles selections, obviously they tried a lot with local heroes. It didn't work out. Yeah, there was always kind of conflicts, and with international coaches, the Super Eagles have good experiences, and the majority have, especially from a German perspective, I think. The Nigerians have a lot of respect towards Germany. Germany have a lot of respect towards Nigeria. Maybe it's a match made in heaven, and maybe the first two games will be very successful, and we don't have those doubts anymore. And we look forward, and we kind of analyze the change of play and the performance of the players, because undoubtedly, Nigeria has fantastic talent. We've got a midfield and an offensive force of the Super Eagles, which is world class, to be honest. They play in the best possible teams in Europe. They are not sitting on the bench. They are regular starters. They are decision makers. They make a unique value proposition to each team and make each team better. What it requires is a coach, that understands the players' language, and obviously in the limited amount of time when the players come to the national team camps, forms a unit, and out of this unit brings the performance on the pitch. And obviously, the last matches we've seen, AFCON was kind of result-driven. The Super Eagles didn't play exceptionally well, yet they won the games. We looked at each other at every single game saying, "Whoa, how did we win this match?" Kind of. And we did. We didn't play nice. We didn't play effective. And I think Nigeria, the Super Eagles, deserve better. And I wish Bruno Labbadia, the best of luck in his first national team coach role, and he will. I am convinced, because of his playing experiences, because of the club experiences, he knows when the players return, when the players come in, and I think having time to sign of, for me, it's really, really important to see how he adapts to Nigeria. For me, an international coach needs to adapt to the local cultures, need to reach out the hand, need to be respecting the environment where he comes into, and I think Bruno Labbadia has obviously the background of being a son of an Italian immigrant into Germany. He knows kind of how to adjust into the environment. He's very open, he's very direct, he's very communicative with his players. That's why with all these kind of effects or ingredients, I think he's got the potential to unlock the full potential of the Super Eagles.
We'll wait to see. I wish him well. In fact, I'm even praying for him, Mario, but when you look at it, what do you think he considered? What inspired Bruno to get this Super Eagles job?
I think obviously he must have convinced the Nigerian Football Federation's board of directors, because when you have the conversations with them, you just need to show the road. You need to have a vision, you need to have a concept. And I think with all these kind of discussion points and topics points, he convinced that he's the better choice than all the others. I don't think it's going to be financially cheaper like a Hervé Renard or all the other contenders for the job. I mean, having coached in Germany, you think the salaries will be quite fine. So and he's financially independent as well. So that also a good hope. But like I said, for me, he must have done in the conversations, in the discussion, in the negotiations, many things right that the Super Eagles board or the Nigerian Football Federation's board of directors believe to do it. If you allow me one remark, Austin, why does the Super Eagles or why does the Nigerian Football Federation need to make an announcement at 5:30 in the morning? I don't know. I really don't know.
When men were asleep, they crawled in like a thief, because we were waiting forever, for that announcement, and the news was already out. Some persons were still, waiting for it to be confirmed. I heard it, but I was waiting for the official statement from the NFF. So I think they said to themselves, this story is already out. People know that we've appointed this guy, so let's just do it while people are asleep, But it's all good. We have a coach now, and I'm sure Cecilia, the look and feel back home in Nigeria. Is it that of relief? Are people, happy about this appointment? Cecilia?
Who is a sports journalist? Yeah, Austin, we have a guest in the studio. He's a sports journalist. I mean, he's been talking to so many people. I'm going to throw the question to him. I mean, Kehinde, when you came into the studio, you were not happy with him because you have some names that you heard that, could have been the coach. And when you heard his name, you were like, he doesn't have the national team experience, which was some of the things that, if you want to appoint a coach and also maybe have the knowledge of African football, which is supposed to be a very strong positive for a coach that will be appointed according to the criteria that was given by the Nigerian Football Federation. Those are the things you were talking about when you came to the studio. So the question Austin asked, that's for you.
Yeah, I particularly, maybe I'm a voice to a lot of persons because I heard a lot of persons from morning up until this night, expressing those who are professionals, some who are just basic, football lovers, expressing. Number one is, like it was asked back in the days, Asene what? So it was Labbadia what? Where is it coming from? As much as you and I know this name, so many of these guys, who are out there do not really connect to him. And you mentioned the African football is completely different. Like we said about Randy Waldron, in his first AFCON, he does not even know the AFCON is as big as that. I think it was in the AFCON he realized, this is a tournament of this magnitude. That is the kind of coach that we're looking for. Somebody who knows what these atmospheres are like, how, demanding, how hostile, how crazy it could be. Are you in that mode? Then also, proximity. If you don't know African football so much, you don't know the gimmicks. You don't know the intricacies right here in Nigerian football. You come in and by 7th of September, we're talking about the first qualifier for Morocco 2025. These are period too short for somebody who barely knows. Yes, you can know Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, Boniface, but you don't know when you bring all of these guys together, the things you need to pass through before match day. These are the things we ask for. Welfareism, how are things being done here? And if you don't know all of this, it gets us worried. And so many people who are worried, just like myself, are asking questions, are the NFF sure this is the path to toe at this time? But with what, the German has said, I think we should have our fingers strongly crossed and hope that he does well.
Yeah, I hope he does well. We're going to go on a break now. On DSTV, our platform, we'll have Inside the Niger Delta with Mohammed Akuga, and of course on all other platforms, streaming platform, Sport Tonight will continue. When we'll come back, we will be taking a look at the statistics. Know the man more, called Bruno Labbadia. All right, let's take a look at the statistics now. This man, the clubs he has been in charge of, and also his age, everything you need to know about him. This is the new Super Eagles coach of Nigeria, the 37th coach for Super Eagles of Nigeria. He was born February 8, 1966, and he's 58 years old. He was born in Darmstadt, right there in Germany. Of course, he is German. That's where he's from. Of course, the details that our guest is giving us, Italian immigrant. Okay, let's take a look at other statistics concerning what he has done. He's got, of course, the license, the coaching license, UEFA Pro license. He's got that. Preferred formation 4-3-3. That's attacking. And we have 7 strikers that have been invited for the game against Benin Republic and Rwanda. Career wins 130 over 339. That's a lot. The teams he has managed, Darmstadt 98, that was his first managerial role. And of course, when he also managed Gruther Forth, it was 2007 to 2008. Secured a 6th place finish in the league. And he went on to manage Bayer Leverkusen from 2008-2009, finishing the season in 9th place. Let's take a look at other teams he has coached. Hamburg, that was in 2009, 2010, and 2015 and 2016. That's when he managed that. And in Stuttgart, the first time he was there in 2002, he was dismissed on both occasions. And of course, Würzburg, 2018 to 2019, he ended the season in 16th place. So this is the man, Bruno Labbadia, the new coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And when he was at Hertha Berlin, it was 2002 to 2001, and he ended the season in 10th place. He's yet to manage any national team. So his first national team assignment is actually with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So that's what you need to know about him. Now, let's talk about his overall coaching statistics. He has managed 409 games, won 141, and draws 95, losses 173. Now, let's take a look at the win ratio that, Mario talked about earlier, which is 49%. And that's when you're looking at the coach of this magnitude, having that, it simply means, well, is it a pass mark, a C, or a D? Okay, I mean, you're smiling. So we'll go back to Mario. I mean, Austin asked Mario some questions concerning why, we have to announce a coach at that particular time, 5 a.m. That's what we all cannot answer. And when I tried to reach out to, the administrators and everything, head of communication, and he didn't pick the calls. Maybe he knew the questions we want to ask, not about the timing, but also what the details of the contract. That's what we don't know. We don't know if it's for 1 year or for 2 years
or qualify.
We really don't know if it's just for qualification. And of course, as Mario mentioned earlier, is a fireman. I mean, a fireman, someone, and I'm like,
Mr.
okay,
Fix-It.
from Mr. Fix-It to Mr. Fix-It. I mean, what he's going to bring in to the table, he has already outlined that. Now, we don't know how long the contract is. These are some of the things we would love to know, but we don't have preview of that information. But that's 5:30 a.m. that Mario mentioned. I mean, were you shocked by that announcement?
I was, because like I told you, all night we were working, and then we saw that and we're like, no, this is not true. Even when I saw the handle of the NFF at the point, I was like, okay, are people, doing things, until it was really confirmed, later.
You thought it was hacked or something?
I thought it was hacked or something because I did not understand it. And see, the NFF over the years have shown us that they are miraculous people. Very, very miracle working people. That is what they did again with the time that it was announced. But there is never a bad time to announce something good. We wanted a coach all this while. Like Austin said, we waited forever. We are even tired. Everybody have started looking in the way. Probably is a Guavon that is going to take, charge and all of that. So we weren't expecting until it came. And then maybe an upgrade, to the last coach we had, if you're looking at the CV, places they had played, managed and all of that. So we want to see, but why every time Cecilia, Austin, Kehinde must always ask for details of contract? And then if you say something out there, you'll hear, you guys don't fetch your news right, and then you're putting something out there. Hey, people out there wants to hear us. And it takes timing. By this time tomorrow, if you're not giving them anything, they turn away from you. It feels like you don't know what you're doing. Why don't you feed us with the right information? Why will a contract of the Super Eagles coach not be out there? Even small teams that are employing coaches will hear expressive, breakdown to their contract. But if that's the way NFL rolls, I think what we really do care about is that the Super Eagles stabilizes, we get into playing, and we get back into winning.
Yeah, Mario, let me get back to you on this one. I mean, he doesn't really have the national team experience. He has coached so many teams, and you talked about what he has been able to do, what players are saying about him, what he's been able to do with the teams he has managed. Do you think that will be that will actually affect him managing the national team? Because managing clubs, you can actually get players that you want. You buy the players you want. But national team, I mean, it's what you have. That's what you have to use. You don't have the opportunity of buying players. And he's a German and he's not based in Nigeria. So scouting for players from home here in Nigeria and also abroad might just be another difficult task for him, having not managed a national team before.
Obviously, it will be a new experience. Here in Germany, he already had a mention in 2018, in 2019, that he would like to be coaching abroad. He wanted to go abroad because he was overall now more than 30 years active in the Bundesliga as a player, as a coach. So his sole experience is the Bundesliga. Obviously, he's a football fanatic and a really smart guy to understand what is required. So a national team obviously will bring a new experience to him, no doubt. That's something I fully understand. The fans, the supporters, even the journalists in the media kind of doubting is like, okay, he's got no national team experience at all. But on the other hand, that it's compensated by somebody who is more than 30 years a practitioner in football, who knows players from different cultures, who knows about players moving left, right, and center, who knows players' confidence and players' challenges and players' mental state of mind. And we know that the Super Eagles are obviously a very well distributed team as well. The majority of the players plays in the European football leagues, which obviously Bruno Labbadia can watch every single time, and maybe every single weekend, I was meant to say. And maybe the Nigerian Football Federation also considered the fact that geographically he's so close to the players that he can meet with the players when they play, that he can go learn the players, learn about the cultures, learn about the setup. And then obviously for me, and that's the most critical thing which I will watch very closely, what is the chance for a young talent, an outstanding talent of the NPFL, of the Nigerian Professional Football League? Does an outstanding player of the NPFL have a chance to represent the Super Eagles? And that's something I will measure Bruno Labbadia on, because obviously all the strongholds are usually the connection between the domestic league and the national team as well. There needs to be a transition. Otherwise, the NPFL will have struggled also in the future. And obviously all the youth camps of Real Madrid, of Arsenal, of Chelsea, around Lagos, around Port Harcourt and everywhere, obviously will just deport the 12-year-old, the 13-year-old child to Europe, and then they only achieve European success or international glory. I foresee and I hope that we can really unlock this incredible talent Nigerian football has, and Bruno Labbadia can be the one kind of accelerating this transformation as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. That's where we have to leave this discussion. Thank you so much for that last sentence you add to your analysis concerning what Bruno will have to do for Nigeria, not just focusing on the elite players, professional players across Europe, but also maybe talent from the Nigeria Professional Football League. Thank you, Bruno, for taking our time to join us. And of course, we'll always bring you back on the show when when the real deal starts. Austin, you want to ask him something before he leaves?
No. I was just going to learn. I see that you're already in the mood. You called Mario Bruno. So Mario maybe someday might just apply for the Super Eagles. Thank you so much, Mario, for your time on the show.
It would be a great honor, but I don't have the UEFA licenses yet or the FIFA license.
Go get it. Cecilia has already given you the name of a coach, so go get a license. So waiting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Austin and Cecilia.
All right, that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Nice evening.
Awesome. So Kehinde Idris, that's what it is. I think we just need to wish this guy luck. We want the best for football in Nigeria. Let's see what he can do. And I totally agree with you. The transparency, accountability is very important. We should be knowing the deals, that come out of appointing a coach. Well, who are the assistants that work with him? You see, I keep saying it. That's the percentage we need to start doing with our football to start winning even before we kick a ball.
Yeah. Yes, you're super correct. I think that's what it should be. Sometimes it goes a long way. I've heard, a coach after, journalists came for him and he was saying, do you even know what our agreements are? Do you even know the level of warfarism that I get when you criticize me and all of that? And he won because we do not know the details in his contract. So you don't know how he has structured his working ways.
Whether his salary passes through
Exactly.
accounts.
We are expecting him to work like somebody earning 200,000. Otherwise, he's earning 40,000. So, you understand these things. So it's a whole lot. And see, maybe the NFF should, from this day, start putting a little more respect on the Super Eagles.
Yes.
If you go out there as a Nigerian, trust me, you will love the Super Eagles more. At the AFCON, I met people who came from Spain, Holland, Germany,
Canada,
who said, we just came to the AFCON to watch the Super Eagles. And I'm not making this up. They told me directly. And that is the level the Super Eagles is. Thomas, who stays in Germany, said every tournament the Super Eagles go is white-skinned. He said, I go to every tournament to watch the Super Eagles. That is the level.
I went to Marseille during the Olympics, and I got into a local store, just a corner store, and the guy asked, where are you from? I said, Nigeria. Okocha. No, I'm not chief. You need the judge. They are even calling, I have to say, concurrent players. That's to show you how much football is big for Nigeria. We can actually make ambassadors out of our players. Yeah. But let's not go through this. The show is not going to end.
Please, thank you for ending it there. We don't want to break the table. You're already shaking it. Let's take a look at the players that have been invited for the 2 games that we will be playing in the first week of September. Starting off with the goalkeepers. And of course, it's all about the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Benin Republic and Rwanda. Stanley Wambali of Chippa United in South Africa. He is invited. Maduka Okoye Udinese in Italy and Amas Obasoge of Bender Insurance. These are the 3 goalkeepers that have been invited. Let's take a look at the defenders that will be prosecuting these games for the new coach, Bruno. William Troost Ekong of Kolod, Saudi Arabia. He is back in the squad after recovering from injury. Bright Said Samuel of Fenerbahce in Turkey. Ulisa Nda of Orlando Pirates in South Africa. Bruno Oyemachi of Boavista in Portugal. You have Oluwasemilogo Ajayi from West Brom Albion in England. And Calvin Bassey of Fulham. Also, you have Ololuwa Aina from Nottingham Forest. So these are the defenders. We'll go through the midfielders where you have Wilfred in the Leicester City. Rafael Oyindika of Club Brugge in Germany, and of course Alassane Yusuf. He has moved to the US in the New England Revolution. That's where he's playing right now. Visayo Dele Bashiru of Lazio in Italy, Frank Oyeka of Brentford in England, and of course Alessi Wobu scored this at the weekend of Fulham, also in the English Premier League. Now move over to the forwards. We have 7 of them. You have Samuel Chukwueze of AC Milan, Victor Osimhen still in Napoli. He's yet to make his move, but the coach has already said he's not part of the squad. Maybe next time we're talking about Victor Osimhen, maybe PSG or Chelsea, who knows? Kelechi Iheanacho already is in Spain right now for Sevilla. Victor Boniface, Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. Moses Simon North in France. Ademola Lookman of Atalanta in Italy. And Tawa Awoniyi of Nottingham Forest in England. These are the forwards for the game against Benin Republic and, of course, Rwanda. So this is where the assignment starts for Bruno coming into the team, having a squad ready for him to prosecute. Any names missing that could have been here? Or you're okay with this 23-man list?
Yeah, I think I'm okay with the list. Although, if I'm saddled with the responsibility, Victor Osimhen will not be here. I think things needs to be, attended to the way.
Okay, give me 5 reasons. 1.
Don't worry about 5 reasons. Okay. I think discipline, should be properly taken out. Yes,
that's all.
I think that's all. That's all. If you go by discipline, I
thought maybe because he hasn't been playing.
No, not because he hasn't been playing. Yes.
Austin,
yes.
What do you think? He said Victor Osimhen shouldn't be on this list.
I know, Cecilia, I'm not going to agree to that, Kehinde, because when Nigerians play now and something goes wrong, they are going to come for the coach or whoever put together.
It was there when we didn't qualify for the World Cup.
They will say Victor Osimhen with 1 leg is better than whoever you play that did not, deliver. There's just something about having your star players available. Even if they don't get to start, just having them on the bench, it causes some level of, I think it was former Burkina Faso coach Paul Putz that told me that when you have star players on the bench, it causes some sort of distraction to your opponent, because tactically they will be wondering what is happening.
Austin, how big of a star is Osimhen right now? I mean, he's talking about indiscipline. That's where he's coming from. Not for anything at all. Not because maybe he's not match fit, he hasn't been playing or anything, but he's talking about discipline. And I know he's referring to the case of what he said about the then coach, Finidi George, when he went on Instagram and was, ranting, so to speak.
Cecilia,
I think that's where he's coming from. Yeah,
I get it. That's a character issue. But we're talking about, we're talking about the art of football, the skills he has as a player, and the importance he brings into the Super Eagles whenever he's playing. I condemned what he did with Coach Finidi George, but with Victor Osimhen being Victor Osimhen, and I think now if you play him, he has a lot of things to prove. He's looking for a club. He's current African Footballer of the Year, and so many things aren't going right. He just needs an opportunity to go out there to show that he's still a dedicated and committed player of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So I would put Victor Osimhen on the list. As I hear people talk about Taiwo Awoniyi, Taiwo Awoniyi is also good to be on the list. I like that Olisanda is back on the list. I like him so much as a player. So whoever said Olisanda should come, there's just some balance and versatility that Olisanda brings whenever he plays for the Super Eagles. The old gangs are back in the squad now. Olaino is in there. William Trostekong is in there. The midfield is solid. I like how Ralph Onyedika is getting into it now. So it looks good. It's just that blend. And whatever they are doing, they cannot allow Benin Republic cannot do a double whammy over Nigeria. It is not possible. So they need to go out there and see ways that they can execute this one. Easy peasy. Use it to welcome Coach Bruno and say to Nigerians, keep the faith. We can still turn things around, particularly qualifying for the World Cup, Cecilia.
I just wanted to add, probably Sadiq Ismail of Bremer Stars. I think what he does week in, week out, he should get a regular color.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that will be noted, and that's some of the things that Mario talked about. About we giving looking into those players who are playing well in the league, which we haven't been doing in a while. But in terms of goalkeeping situation, we always bring in one. But usually they don't get
the outfield players.
because we know what usually happens after that. All right, let's leave the Super Eagles for now because we don't want to do a Super Eagles show. We will be talking about the CAF Champions League. Rangers, for instance. Yes, we'll talk about Rangers and what happened at the weekend. Well, in case you missed it, we'll just quickly run through what happened. Of course, the team they will be facing next, Sagrada of Angola. That's the team that Rangers International Nigerian champions will be facing in the second round, preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. And how did they get here? In their game at the weekend, yes, they managed to get a draw. The first one ended 1-0. The second one was a draw, and they were able to get it. For Remo Stars, well, it was 3-2 on aggregate. They lost in Rabat 2-0, and they are out. That's the third time in a row. Remo Stars seems just go to the continent and come back. And this was the shocker of the season. Academy Warriors against Danje of Benin. I mean, Austin already said don't do a double over, but the clubs have already started it against Academy Warriors. It ended 2-1 at the weekend and 3-2 on aggregate. And of course, for Academy Warriors, they are out of the CAF Confederations Cup. So that's why you have just Eimba and Rangers, the two big clubs, one in CAF Confederations Cup and one in CAF Champions League on for Nigeria. Quickly, we'll talk about Rangers. They were able to make it to the preliminary rounds expectedly because the coach already talked about the group stage. He's from the group stage. He will, be talking about, the real deal starts at the group stage, but still have two hurdles to cross, home and away game that he will be playing. First leg at home, the second leg away.
I was livid with Rangers last week when I was here. See,
they can't score goals.
No disrespect to any team, but there would always be minors in football. No matter
Comoros,
how,
you think Comoros is not
Comoros as a country, Zelmaja as a club? No. And Rangers, aside that, you now have the luck that when Zemajo cannot use or they don't have a stadium to use or stadium, they chose Uyo of everywhere. And Rangers already chose Uyo to play their Continental game because the Cathedral cannot be allowed to host Continental games. So you play 2 away games at home. And I said it here. I said football will start and 1 goal will just go in against you and the pressure is here. Zemajo has nothing to lose. Nobody will write anything about them. As imagine they came to the Champions League and they've been thrown out by Rangers. No. It is if Zemajo are taking out Rangers, stories will continue to emanate up until today and the day after. And that was the fear. You scored 1 goal in the first leg and then the second leg ended 1-1. That's too close. And asking people after that game, nobody is excited to watch Rangers go on. Because if you can play that close a match over 2 legs against Zemajo, then there is nothing to be expected. And then you're talking of the group stage where you will meet the RS Bakane, Wydad, the Esperance.
Sometimes there are some teams, Austin, there are some teams who play better when they meet a bigger team. But even the team they are meeting, the Angolan team, they are meeting Sagrada. That team actually won 4-0 aggregate. They didn't concede a goal. They scored 4 against St. Louis Sun United. That's something we need to worry about because Rangers seems not to be able to score goals because the other one was a penalty. They scored only 1 goal. The other was a penalty and they 2-1 aggregate. Scary, right?
I think some way, somehow Rangers will learn. They will learn from this game against Zemajo. It was a very tricky one. I think they're trying to warm into the competition also. But I agree with Kehinde Idris, and I said it last week on the show, that this sort of games, they are potential banana peels. When you step on them, you fall. And with Rangers not giving it the sort of approach that we expected from the first leg, that first leg was like a home match for them. Go out there, win properly. That's what I always say about playing on the continent. Because it's over 2 legs. When you play the first leg, I don't care where you're doing it. Just make sure you do it convincingly. Even if you're not winning. If you're playing goalless, they say, going into the second leg, with the way they played this first leg, they're going to do magic, But we didn't see that from Rangers. And that's what I wasn't surprised when what happened in the second leg did. And they have themselves to blame also. Whatever happens in their next fixture, with this now, Cecilia, I have no expectations from Rangers because we told them, we warned them, get the cathedral ready, fix your stadium so you play at home and have your fans there to support you. It's very, very important. But they didn't. This is where we are now. Cecilia, let's wish them all the best. I said El Kanemi won't go anywhere. They have crashed out. Let's see what Rangers and Eimba can do.
All right, we have to wrap it up here. There's no time to talk about it. Just one thought on Remo Stars before we go.
Painful.
Yeah, painful. Okay.
I think the luck of the draw. Nah. Remo, sorry.
Okay, luck of the draw. That's what is wrong with Remo for the 3rd time in a row for them. Early exit from the CAF Champions League. Austin, we'll just sign out with this one, talking about the death of the first man who won the Olympics, who won a medal for Nigeria in boxing, the very first medal Nigeria won. Talking about Nojim Maiyegun, who died on Monday, Nigeria's first Olympic medalist.
We'll miss him, he won bronze. Fantastic boxer, and we've said that the labors of our heroes past should not be in vain. I like the things Nojim did with inspiring people. We've got goodwill messages coming from all over Nigeria. Abike Dabiri just sent in our own goodwill message. Also, tributes coming from the Ministry of Sports Development. Let's use his life, sustain his legacy, see ways we can use his story to inspire generations that will come up to become boxers in Nigeria. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Yeah, kind of just your latest thoughts on him. 71 kg in boxing. That was in 1964 Olympics. 60 years on now.
It's gone. If you want to know how great Nojim is, go to the National Stadium under that bridge where legends are being graffited. He's also there. Continue to rest in peace. I'm sure we'll miss him.
Yeah, he was 85 when he passed on Monday. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a good night's rest.